just how hard it was when he first got into the WWE. Did you not get like banished from the locker room or something like that when you first came in?
Yes. Thanks for reminding me, and thanks for helping me out in those times. I appreciate it. You know, you think my good buddy Chris Jericho would get me out of getting kicked out of the locker room.
Yeah, this is like it's like an Oprah interview. I want to go to those deep emotions.
Yes, the deep emotions. Yeah, I did get kicked out of the locker room. It was it was a stupid thing by me. So I'm in the locker room. There's nowhere to really go. You know, there's nowhere to put your stuff down.
Yeah, space is very cramped.
You know, you would think as a WWE superstar and in the biggest, you know, traveling, I guess you could
company,
say circus, entertainment conglomerate, that we would have an amazing, immaculate locker rooms. That couldn't be further from the truth. All our locker rooms are like cubby holes, so we all have to squeeze in there. And so it was one of those small, locker rooms. I sit down, I start eating some chicken. As I'm eating the chicken, someone goes, "Hey, you're spilling chicken all over my bag." Now, in my mind, I wasn't spilling anything because I still was in that mode of, okay, I have to respect everyone, make sure you don't get anything on anything. And then it kind of escalated to, it got all over everyone's bags and this, that, and the other thing. And I thought everyone was joking. I thought it was a joke. So I literally walk out. I walk out. I start watching my match back, just because that's what you do when you're brand new. You watch your match back. You try to figure out what you did wrong, how good you are. All of a sudden, I hear, and I get literally yelled at worse than I've ever been yelled at in my entire life. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. The veins were popping out of his.
Who was it? Was it Benoit?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben was
out of his veins. He was so angry. I was like, oh my, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I was stuttering. I had no idea what to do. I was like, oh my God. I just got up in the WWE. I try to be as respectful as possible. And you know me, I'm a loudmouth. I like to talk. But when I first came up, I wasn't a talker, but everyone assumed that I was the character that I was playing on the show. And so it was kind of one of those bad situations. And, I get called up and I get kicked out of the locker room. And it wasn't at first, actually, this is actually what happened first. So he goes, oh, and so the next day he goes, "Hey, Miz, you're not going to be kicked out of the locker room, but you just know that what you did was terrible, blah, 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 blah." I was like, "Okay, yes, sir." The next day comes by, he goes, "You know what? You're kicked out of the locker room. Get your stuff out of the locker room, but you're only kicked out on live event days, not on TV days." So I was like, "Okay, great." So the next day I come to TV, I put myself in the locker room. "Miz, let me talk to you. People have been talking, rumblings, and everyone thinks that you should be kicked out of the locker room for TV as well as live events." So I was kicked out of the locker room for 6 months. And it was terrible. It was horrible. I would find ways, how Matt Striker got kicked out of the locker room and he would do it right in front of people. He would change right in front of people.
Yeah.
Me, I said, screw that. No one's going to know that I'm kicked out of the locker room. I'm going to hide and find out my own little locker room, my own little personal locker room. The only problem is finding a bathroom backstage that's in a locker room, isn't in a locker room is very, very difficult. I remember one time I had to go out into the audience in order to go to the bathroom. I remember a little kid going, I'm using the restroom, a little kid going, "I think the Miz is in there." And I'm like, this is the lowest of the lows of my career right now.
Well, it was probably a trial by fire. They wanted to, because I wasn't there at the time, but I remember hearing about it. I think they were trying to see if you had, what it took to be involved in the business. Now,